Hola chicos y chicas. In this video we're going to take a look at something called complementos directos, or in English, direct object pronouns. Before we get started, let's do a little bit of English review here to make sure we all understand what a direct object is. As you can see, a direct object, we're going to call that the DO, is the thing or person that directly receives the action of the verb. That also could be that the direct object answers the question what or whom. Let's take a look at a couple of sentences here in English, and let's put on our sentences here who our subject is, what our verb is, and what the direct object would be. Follow along and see if you can do these even before I get to the examples. Let's take a look at the first sentence here. I call Juan. I is the subject, person doing the action. Call is the verb. And who is the person directly receiving the action of the call? That would be Juan, and he would be our direct object. Barbara answers the phone. Barbara is the subject. She's doing the action. And the phone is directly receiving the answering, which would make it the direct object. They watch the TV. They is the subject. Watch is the verb. TV is the direct object. You guys can see the pattern here, and we don't need to go through the rest of them. It's pretty straightforward, but that is just a little refresher for you that the direct object receives the action directly from the verb. Nothing is interfering. Okay? So let's take a look at a couple of examples here in Spanish and how that would work. These are the same sentences here, just in Spanish, and we want to go through and we want to diagram the subject, the verb, and the direct object here, keeping in mind that the direct object is the thing or person that directly receives the action of the verb. Let's look at our first sentence. Yo llamo a Juan. I'm the person doing the action. The action is call, and Juan is receiving the call. Just like in our English example. No difference here, except we have Spanish. Barbara contesta el teléfono. No change again. Barbara's the one doing the action. Answering is the verb. El teléfono is the direct object. And again, we don't need to go through each and every single one of these. You get the idea at this point. Basically, this is the same here in Spanish as it is in English. Pause the video here, refresh if you need to. Otherwise, let's move on and take a look at how this would work with the direct object pronouns now replacing the direct object. So you might be thinking, well, what's the point anyway? Why do we even have these things called direct object pronouns? Well, the whole idea is that when the direct object is known, it's often desirable to replace the name of the direct object with a pronoun. So instead of saying Juan over and over and over again, we can replace Juan with the word him. This helps us get rid of some repetitiveness, shortens our sentence, and allows us to talk about things that are known a lot more quickly. So if we look at a few of our same sentences here, some of our similar examples, I call, instead of Juan, it's going to be I call him. You can see that we have our direct object pronouns over on the right side there, and because it is a guy in the third person singular, that would be him. Barbara answers the telephone, she answers it. Again, we're going to replace the telephone with it. What does she answer? It. They watch it, the television, that would be our direct object. Bertha and I sing them. We sing the songs. We sing them. That's plural. We're talking about the songs. We're going to place that with them. You read them, the books. And again, we're going to replace the books with them. And finally, they visit us. Again, it's not just always what or things. Sometimes the action, the direct object can be people, since they can receive actions as well. So in this case, they visit us. Okay, let's take a look at what this would look like in Spanish. Okay, again, our whole idea here is to replace the direct object with a pronoun and kind of shorten things up a little bit. Now, in Spanish, the direct object pronoun, which we're going to call the DOP, it goes in front of the conjugated verb. Let's look at our first sentence here. Yo lo llamo. If you remember back to our sentence, it's I call Juan. We can replace Juan with him, And in Spanish, that would be our direct object lo. Since he is a guy, we use lo. And then we're going to put that in front of the conjugated verb. So instead of yo llamo a Juan, yo lo llamo. So that's how that works. Goes in front. Let's take a look at another example. Barbara answers the phone. She answers it. The phone is masculine. El teléfono. So again, we would use lo. Barbara lo contesta. Sometimes we have feminine objects as well. For example, la televisión. They watch the television. They watch it. So we're going to replace it, la televisión with it, which would be la in this case. Ellos la. Sometimes the objects, they can be plural. We talked earlier about Bertha and I sing the songs. We sing them, and since the songs are plural, we would make that las. So Bertha y yo las cantamos. The books, which are plural, you read them. We want to substitute the books with them. And since it's plural masculine, it would be los libros. Tú los leyes. And again, sometimes people can be our direct objects. They visit us. We can replace us with nos. Ellos nos visitan. Keeping in mind that our DOP goes in front of that conjugated verb. Let's add a couple more examples here just to show you how this works in Spanish. My aunt takes care of me. Mi tía me cuida. I'm receiving the action of being taken care of. And since it's me, we're going to use the me. Yo te busco. I look for you. You are looking, or you are receiving the action of looking. And since it's you, we're going to use te. Okay, Now, often we use direct object pronouns when there are questions being asked. And the reason for this is that when someone asks a question, the object or person is already mentioned. It's already defined in the question. So therefore, we can now substitute that thing or person with the DOP because we already know who we're talking about. Let's look at some practice examples here. ¿Tienes la pluma? Do you have the pen? Well, instead of saying, yes, I have the pen, or no, I don't have the pen, you can replace the pen with the word it. And since it's la pluma, that would be feminine. We're going to use la. So how would we answer that question? Yes, I have it, or no, I don't have it. See what you can do. See if you can come up with the answer, and we'll put it up in just a second. So we have our answer here. Sí, la tengo, or you could say no, no la tengo. We have replaced la pluma with the word la, and we put it in front of our conjugated verb. Let's look at another question. ¿Come tu familia la sopa para la cena? Our direct object here is going to be la sopa. That's what's receiving the action of eating, or not, depending on if your family does or not. So let's see if we can replace la sopa. Do your best to answer this one, and then we'll put up the answer. Sí, mi familia la come. Or you could say no, mi familia no la come. Either way, the la is replacing la sopa, and it comes before our conjugated verb. A couple more examples here. ¿Juegan los chicos al voleibol? Sí, los chicos lo juegan. Or no, los chicos no lo juegan. Al voleibol is masculine and singular. We can use lo to replace that. And then it goes in front of the conjugated verb. Okay, I think you're probably starting to pick up on the pattern. Let's do two more examples here. ¿Escuchas a mí siempre? Sí, te escucho siempre. Or no, no te escucho siempre. Yes, I listen to you. So I listen, I'm the one doing the action, and you would be the one receiving the listening in this case. So we would use te to substitute for you. Finalmente, ¿quién te despierta en la mañana? Who wakes you up in the morning? And let's say it is tu madre. So you would want to say, my mom, she wakes me up. Let's see if we can do that. Mi madre me despierta en la mañana. I am the one directly receiving the action from her, and she is doing it to me. She is waking me up, so I would use me as a substitute. Mi madre me despierta en la mañana. Let's look at some special cases here, casos especiales. If the sentence has two verbs in it, instead of just the one that we've been working with so far, the direct object pronoun can go before the conjugated verb or attached to the end of the infinitive verb. So before the conjugated, or now this is new, attached to the end of the infinitive verb. Let's look at a couple examples. ¿Quieres mirar las películas? And the answer will be sí. Sí, las quiero mirar, substituting las películas. Or now we could say sí quiero mirar las. Las being attached to the end. Notice there's no space there, it all becomes one word. Sí quiero mirarlas. ¿Puedes cuidar a mis perros, por favor? No. No, no los puedo cuidar. Or, no, no puedo cuidarlos. Again, just attached to the ending. Neither one is better than the other one. They both function the same, and it really is just a personal preference thing, depending on which one you would like to use. ¿Vas a comer tu postre? Sí, lo voy a comer. Or, sí, voy a comerlo. Either one is fine. I prefer to use it at the end, but really it doesn't make a difference. I think it's even more common to hear it at the beginning, but like I said, it's up to you as to which one you use. But keep in mind it can go either before the conjugated verb or after, attached to the end of the infinitive verb when the sentence has two verbs. So let's try some practice with some sentences that have multiple verbs, keeping in mind the placement of our DOP. I'm going to have you pause the video here, try these three sentences, and then I'll put up the answers to all three and see how you do. But pause the video, take a few seconds, see what you can do now with multiple verbs and using the DOP. So here are the answers. Let's go through these. ¿Tienes que hacer la tarea? No, no la tengo que hacer. Notice our DOP for la tarea is substituted with la, and it goes in front of the conjugated verb, or in a second case, it goes attached to the second verb, the infinitive verb. ¿Vas a visitarme en junio? Are you going to visit me in June? Sí, te voy a visitar en junio. Or, sí, voy a visitarte en junio. Notice we're going to use te because a question is being asked here. Are you going to visit me? Yes, I am going to visit you. So keep that in mind. The questions asked, our direct object pronoun has to reflect what we want to say. And then finally, ¿nos pueden ver? Can they see us? No, no nos pueden ver. Or, no, no pueden vernos. Either one is fine. It's all about personal preference. Okay, let's look at one more special case. When giving an affirmative command, telling someone to do something, not telling someone not to do something, this is the opposite here, telling someone to do something, the direct object is attached to the end of the command, and an accent is needed on the third to last syllable. Let's look at a couple of examples here. ¿Debo comer la pizza? Should I eat the pizza? Sí, cómela. Yes, eat it. Notice we have our accent here on our third to last syllable, and our la, which is substituted for la pizza, is added to the end of the command. ¿Es necesario hacer la tarea en la clase de español? Sí, hazla ahora. Do it now. We're substituting la tarea with la, and we're attaching it to the end of our command, haz, for do. Necesito tu ayuda con el proyecto. Está bien. Llámame esta noche. Call me tonight. Notice our accent and the me is substituted at the end there. ¿Necesitas ayuda a colgar las decoraciones? Sí, cuélgalas, por favor. Yes, hang them, please. Accent over our E, and las is substituting las decoraciones. So again, our DOP is attached to the end of our command. Okay, so those are all of our special cases and all of our rules for direct object pronouns. Let's take a look at some example practice problems, and then we'll see how you have done with this section. Feel free to go back and take a look at your notes and review the rules before going through the practice problems. Here are 10 practice problems. The direct object is going to be the thing that is in parentheses. Some of these have two verbs, and some of these are commands. Please follow your rules and see how you do with these. And afterwards, of course, we'll have the answers to these practice problems. Please try these out, all 10. They're not very long. Try them out before moving on to the next section to see how you did. And at this point, you'll want to pause the video. Okay, aquí están las respuestas. See how you did. I'm going to circle each direct object pronoun in the sentence. See how you did. If you got one wrong, circle it, figure out why, and ask for help if needed. Okay, and that's it here for our direct object pronouns. Suerte y adiós.